Good evening, everyone. We are going to have a fantastic guest this evening. He'll be joining us here in the next 2 or 3 minutes. Really excited to have her. She's going to be fantastic. Thank you for being here. I will clearly be cutting this part out of the share with WaitBot and his lovely music.
It's no secret. It's plain to see. I love you. And you love me.
Let's get this video going. Make sure that she's
in the middle of the night. Only then can I feel your heartbeat. Till something's not right. Together I see you and me, always and all time. But not everyone would agree. To them it's a crime. It's no secret. It's plain to see.
Dr. Scholl, I think this is the first time I've seen you on the show, so thank you for being here. Good evening, Woody. So glad you're here. Hopefully you guys can hear me okay. I am going to mute WaitBot here. And there's Danielle. Danielle, I'm getting ready to invite you to speak and invite you to video. So you should have gotten the invitations to come up to the stage. And then we will get cracking with alignment vision action for Thursday, June the 16th. Okay, Danielle, I'll send it to you again just in case. Did you get it? Yeah, let me send it to you. Good evening, Dave. Let me invite you to speak again. So hopefully you got that. And then let me invite you to video again. So welcome to, it's 7 o'clock. Welcome to Alignment Vision Action. I am your host, Laurel Rutledge. I am so excited to have our guest tonight, Danielle P. Jeter. She is in the audience. I've sent some invites, so hopefully she's not having a tech issue. We did test it, so it was working really well. So hopefully she'll be able to do that. Good evening, Dave. I love you guys' show, by the way, that's on there. So, and we've got Woody in the audience, and we've got Dr. Jordan Scholl in the audience. So I'm really excited. We'll probably have some more people join. My producer, Jenny, has another event, so she's going to be on shortly. So let me see if I can try Danielle here again. And Danielle, if you can hear me, since you're in the audience, I invited you to speak. So hopefully the invites are coming through because it's allowing me to send them. So I'm not sure if your tech is working. Hey, Jenny, let me make you a producer. All right. So we are going to get started on alignment vision action. Hopefully Danielle will be able to get on the stage here soon. I'll keep trying to send you invites, Danielle. And even Jenny, if you want to keep sending, I wonder if there may be something going on with her video. And I'll just send a reaction here just to get the chat up. All right. Let's see. Yep, she's joined. And okay. Yeah, she is on, but I'm not sure what is happening with her audio and video. See, I'm going to invite her to speak again. So Danielle, you should be able to speak now and be able to join your video. So tonight on Alignment Vision Action, well, first, I'm your host, Laurel Rutledge. For those of you who haven't been on the show before, thank you so much for being here this evening. It's all about alignment. It's all about clarifying your vision and all about being in action on the show. So we are tonight, hopefully, if our tech works, we're going to be talking to Danielle Jeter, and she is an incredible human. She owns her own PR firm. She owns a women in media group. I mean, she's just incredible, and has a mastermind coming up, and I'll have her tell you guys about that because it's going to be fantastic, moving women business owners into millions, which is fantastic. So I can't say enough about her. And what really led me to bring her to the show was this conversation that she and I had. She was on the podcast last week, so if you did not get a chance to listen to the pre-recorded podcast, she was my guest on the podcast last week, her interview. So if you go to the Rutledge Perspective podcast on any of the platforms, you can listen to that. But we had gotten into this conversation about passion and what it means to really pursue your passion. And she has a very interesting take on that, which some of that I think is generational, but also I think some of it is really quite insightful in terms of her taking this idea of pursuing her passion and really putting action behind it, because that's often what doesn't happen. We talk a lot about passion, 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 and we don't have the idea to actually do something about that. And thank you, Dave, for broadcasting to the world. Yes, Jenny, if you will do that as well, that would be awesome. So, I really think that it's really important to, if you're going to say, I only want to follow my passion, right? I only want to do what I'm passionate about. What does that really mean for you? And we hear that a lot, especially now with the great resignation, the great realignment, the great whatever you want to call it. Good evening, Monica. The great thing that's happening. We talk about that a lot now, but very few people actually take action around that passion, so that it is around learning, it's around doing, it's around being, not just around sitting back and saying, I don't want to do that if it's not in my passion. And so Danielle has a fantastic take on that. For some reason, I'm just not seeing her come through. Jenny, I don't know if, let's see, let me just check my email, guys. Bear with me really quickly. I want to check my email and my text and see if she sent me anything. I don't see anything coming from her right now.
Laura, I've sent her invites, but
Okay.
I don't know if she's able to accept them.
Yeah, I've sent them too. And we tested on Wednesday and everything was fine. Hey, Renee, and everything was fine. We tested all the tech, and so she was able to come through. So I'm not sure what the dealio is. So I'll just keep talking. Oh,
there she is.
Yay! There she is. Hey, Danielle, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me and see me?
Yes, we can hear you and see you. Fantastic. This is awesome. So welcome to the stage, everybody who's in the audience. Welcome, Danielle Jeter. So here's the deal. We're going to be talking about passion and some other stuff. Feel free, for those of you who are new to Fireside, what you do is you'll see this little react button at the bottom. And in that little react button, you can click on the react button. You can click an emoji because you need to select an emoji. And then you put in a chat if you want to have a chat, and that will show up. So you can interact that way by showing different emojis, which is really cool. Yes, just like Danielle just did. So you can show different emojis. You don't have to put a chat in, but you always have to select an emoji. The other thing is, if you would like to speak, you can click on the little circle on the bottom left, and it says request to speak. So if you want to do that, feel free to do that. Jenny and I are watching, my awesome producer Jenny. We're watching that. We're watching the little bubbles. So if you have a question or a comment, please come up and do that. I'd really appreciate it, so that you can meet and interact with us. And Danielle is fantastic. So welcome to Alignment Vision Action, Danielle. I'm so glad we were able to get you in and get you invited and get you on the stage. So I was telling people a little bit about our conversation that we had around this idea of passion, and how so many people say, I want to follow my passion. If it's not in my passion, I'm not going to do it. And so you say that, but the difference is you have actually taken your passion with some action and done some things. And that's the difference. So a lot of people like sit back and just say, I want my passion, I want my passion, but they're not really moving. They're waiting for someone to allow them to dive into their passion. And so for you, maybe tell people a little bit about you. And I, just so you know, guys, when I send this replay, I will also be putting Danielle's full bio in the notes on the YouTube replay, and all of that kind of stuff when we post it. So you'll get all of that, and go listen to her pre-recorded on the podcast, The Rutledge Perspective. So tell people a little bit, Danielle, first your story, so people know who you are, how you started AOI, and all of that.
Okay. I am so excited to be on Fireside. This is my first time doing this. So, Laurel, thank you for inviting me to a brand new platform. And I'm excited to see everybody in the audience.
Yes.
And so, my name is Danielle Jeter, and I got started as a dancer growing up. 6 years old, I began dancing African dance, and later added on quickly ballet, jazz, modern, tap for a little bit. And that is where I found my passion and my happy place, my desire. And it did a lot for me. And so it was very therapeutic. It allowed me to learn how to be competitive, but still a team member. It allowed me to express myself in a healthy way when I needed to. And it allowed me to learn how to be consistent and dedicated. It taught me how to take constructive criticism, how to be a follower, how to even be a leader. And, one of the biggest things I took away is how to be competitive, how to go after what I know I need and deserve, and really be able to stand up and say, I deserve this, let me go fight for it. And so just following all of that through grade school, middle school, high school, on to college, I chose the college of my choosing, Spelman College, because I wanted to go to an HBCU when I saw Drumline. And HBCU, historically Black college or university, educate African Americans. And specifically the school I chose, Spelman College, was founded to educate Black women. I was like, that's my school. It's for me. It's a school for me. I'm going there. It's a very competitive school to get into. You have to be top of your class. You have to be, very well-rounded. It's a private. So my incoming class was maybe 400 students. And so out of 3,000 applications, they chose mine to be one of the 400. And that was mind-blowing in itself. Then I go to audition for the dance team because I wanted to dance in the band. I auditioned. Out of 400 people who auditioned, they only selected 10, and I was number 2 out of the 10. So you'll see, my competition is up there. I know how to compete and show up.
Yes.
And those things continue to drive my decisions in life. And so I said, I'm not going to compromise what I want to do. I'm going to find a way to incorporate what I want to do that makes me happy. So when it comes to dancing, I will always make space in my life to do that because that's what I love to do. And so I began to create a lifestyle around what that looks like. And so fast forward, learning, being in theater, I'm a theater artist, and there's two sides to it. There's the production that is choreographed on the stage, and then there is the actual event to put the production on.
Yes.
And at an age, I went from not just performing, I had to put more hats on. I said, well, what else can I do? And I began to learn marketing and sales, and I would do promotion for the event, and I would try to, sell the tickets and get butts and seats, because artists, we don't want to perform to an audience of nobody. We work
Yes.
extremely hard to put the show together. And then we get out there, there's nobody there. You feel defeated. So I said, I'll take this challenge on. And I began to assist in that way. That opened me up to a whole nother world, the world of events. Not just
Yes.
for the theater, but let's plan for gatherings and celebrations for people outside of the theater. That opened me up to events, promotion, and planning. I began to just do that around my college campus, joining other promotional teams and, doing the college parties and things like that.
Hmm.
I said, wow, I have leadership ability. I actually have entrepreneurial spirit. I could own this company. So I said, I'm going to launch a business because I graduated in 2010. We were still in the recession at that time. And so job opportunities were not promised to us
Hmm.
as we thought would be. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to make a sacrifice. I'm going to take the last year off of the dance team. I'm not going to dance my senior year. I'm going to take some business classes and I'm going to launch a business. And
Yes.
that's what I did. At 19 years old, I had the gumption to start AOI Events and PR. I didn't know what I was doing, but I said, I know I can do it. And that's how the business was founded.
Yes. Well, and what I love so much about that story with you is, and that I hope the audience hears, and those of you who are listening in the replay, those of you who are joining us on YouTube, welcome. For those of you who are watching live on YouTube or watching live on the Fireside app, if you don't have, or the Fireside website, if you don't have an iOS device, welcome to the show. And what I love about what you said was, this was something that I loved to do. This like fed my spirit, right? To dance and to be in theater. I loved it. And it built skills around knowing how to show up. I knew I was competitive. I knew I was going to do the work. And you decided to say, no matter what I'm going to do, how can I still have this a piece of my life? And I think that is the key that so many people miss, is that we should have those things that we're really passionate about. But how do you incorporate those into something that is going to enable you to live and survive and take care of your family in a way that either becomes your business, like Danielle said, she started this business at 19, she's doing events, she's doing all this kind of stuff, or have a business, good evening, Jen, have a business that gives you freedom to do that stuff on the side. And you've kind of had now this morphing into a little bit of both, right? So you've still got the dance that you do, but all of that creative spirit is now also part of your business. So maybe talk a little bit about how you not only incorporated that into your business, but how you make the decision of, this dance thing I'm going to keep doing, but that's the stuff I do on the side. But this is the stuff that I do every day. So talk a little bit about how you incorporate that.
Well, I'm a girl who, I know the life that I want to live. I know the lifestyle. I know the things that I want to buy. And, it's kind of hard being a billionaire as a dancer. So I said,
Yes.
well, I can't do it full time, but I can still do it
Yeah.
to enjoy
Yes.
myself. And so that was a hard decision to kind of come to because, as a child, I would think I want to be a professional dancer. I went to Spelman, I
Yes.
did college. It's like, I want to do this. And it's just like, can't really make no money and I want to make money.
Hmm.
So just coming to grips with that was something that I was like, I just had to, come to grips with. And so one of the things that I did to really incorporate that is I created structure and boundaries around my business.
Hmm.
And that's a tip that I want to give to the entrepreneurs who are listening, that we created our companies for time freedom and location freedom. Live that, lean into that
Yeah.
space. You don't have to be on go all the time. You don't have to work around the clock. Yes, work, but don't work all the time, and create
Yes.
for other things you like in your life. So a couple of years ago, I auditioned to be a part of a dance company in Philly, and it
Yeah.
was a dance company that was catered to working professionals. So we
Hmm.
actually, we practiced that night, and it was a schedule that we could work out. We
Yeah.
could craft that night. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes. Gotcha. Yeah.
And so, with that being said, I auditioned for this dance company and I got placement there to perform, and I danced with them for about 3.5 years. And that for me was very fulfilling because I was able to do both. And when I realized that I was putting in so much sweat equity into my business and the numbers didn't make sense, I was like, forget that. I'm going to put some more structure around this thing because we don't have to work harder to make more money. That's a
Yes.
myth. That's a limiting thought. That's a limiting belief. That's not true. You don't have to work hard for money. Abundance is our birthright. It belongs to us. We just have to figure out how to attract that to us. And it's not killing yourself to work the hours to get it. And so once I began to believe that and understand that, I was okay with saying, hey, my office closes at 6 o'clock. I'm on to dance rehearsal for the next 4 hours. And so that was one of the things that I did to incorporate it in my business. But the other great thing that I can do that is just creative on a whole other level is I get to work in production with other people's brands, and
Yes.
I get to represent creatives and artists doing their PR. And so I come with another level of like compassion and
Hmm.
interest because I am too an artist. So I work very hard for my clients because I understand what it's like to be in that space. So like even now, it is the American Black Film Festival here in Miami. I'm working with
Yes.
film artists who are doing the red carpet, and I get to represent them as their publicists on the red carpet. So those are like
Yay!
things that I've been able to do with creating a business around the
Yeah.
things I like to do. Because I'm an agency, I can say, I want to do this, I don't want to do this. Okay, I'm going to represent these people, I don't want to represent these people.
Yes. And there's so much power in that because I tell people all the time, not all money is good money.
Mm-hmm.
Not all money is good money. And as you begin to build this, and we've got several years between us. I think I got at least 20 years on you, if not 30. And it's very, I think it was so powerful as we were having a conversation. You've got to be open. When I talk about alignment, vision, and action, part of that, not only aligning with who you are, but part of that vision and part of action is being willing to be open and to learn and to hear. And what I loved about having you on the show and having you on the podcast is that reminder, even for me, to say, hey, it's one thing to grind, because I have a real issue with that word grind, hustle, because we put so much pressure on ourselves about that. If we don't get something, that our hustle wasn't hustly enough, right? Our grind wasn't hard enough. But it was so nice to talk to you, right? And hear that refreshing, like, nope, I'm setting boundaries. Nope. Yes, I work. And I think you even told me I worked really hard. It was crazy working for a while. And then I said, wait a minute, what am I doing? And so your vision of what you wanted, not only for a lifestyle, but your vision of what you wanted to incorporate into your life that gave you peace and happiness and joy, and
Yeah.
your ability to take that vision and move it into action is just masterful. And what I really want people to learn and hear from you, because it is possible to have a life of freedom, because you're right, most entrepreneurs go in because we want a level of freedom. We want to do and serve the way we want to serve. And so in order to do that, we've got to be a lot more self-aware and not fall into the same traps, for those of us especially who came out of corporate, falling into the same corporate traps. And so as you talk about this dance on the side, this dance troupe, which is really interesting to me too, because when I moved back to Houston, I actually was part of a salsa team. I've never been on stage in my life, and I loved it. It was so awesome. I miss dancing. It was fantastic. And they're actually starting some more series. So I'm like, oh, maybe I need to do that again. So as you think about the importance of the actual dance and the actual engagement of that creative spirit in your business beyond doing it for other people, how does that feed you in order to serve the folks that you serve through your business?
That's a really good question. And, people come to publicists like myself for creativity.
Hmm.
So, I become a strategist for their brand and I start to think about, well, how can we creatively and effectively communicate your message so that it can be amplified to the target audience of your desire? And
Hmm.
so my job is to be creative, me being able to be a good listener, and someone who is researching and also in the know and on the ground, right? Because all of our industries are competitive. Whatever
Hmm.
industry you're in, whatever you're doing, I'm pretty sure is just as competitive as mine and some of my clients. So we have to think about ways to keep us relevant, for us to stand out.
Hmm.
And so that creativity piece is something that is very important, and I have to continue to charge my creativity. And for me, I can't be on go all the time and think that I'm going
Yes.
to get a creative download, right? It's when we are taking it easy, where we decide to turn it off for a minute, turn off our digital
Yeah.
devices, and we can sit still, or we can just, go out and let the breeze hit and just let downloads come in and just be, just be. I get a
Hmm.
lot of downloads like that when I am just honing into center and just being connected in that way.
Yeah, I love that. And as you were talking, I can't even remember who I had this conversation with this past week, and we were talking about the things that we do and how we lean into things and how we get creative and create that space, and how sometimes we even put more pressure on ourselves to do all of the things, right? Even when we're telling ourselves it's because this is the stuff I love, this is the stuff I'm passionate about. If you start putting even more pressure on yourself there, as you said, it eliminates your creativity, right? You're just that kind of pressure to do and to be and to constantly perform can actually have a downside to its effectiveness, right? It can really make us not able to be and show up and perform the way we want to. We got to have that open space. And by the way, those of you in the audience, feel free to come up to the stage, comments, questions for Danielle. That's what I love about this platform. We can actually get you guys up there, have you on video if you like. Jen, good to see you. So please feel free to jump in at any time. Um, so, Danielle, I think the other piece that is so interesting, you're getting ready to do a mastermind. Good evening, Sonia. Thank you for joining. You're getting ready to do a mastermind, and tell people a little bit about it, but more importantly, tell people what it is that you are trying to build and convey to the folks that come to your mastermind.
Yes, absolutely. If you are an entrepreneur, you're building a business and you are focused on scaling your business, which I hope that you are, masterminding is a sure strategy to get you to the next level. Investing in creating community with like-minded people who
Yes.
actually are working towards tangible takeaways and tangible strategies to implement into the business to get you to the next level, 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures. A mastermind is something that you want to make sure that you find and that you invest in, even if it's not mine. If it's someone else's, just get in the room. And my particular mastermind is called Meet Up to Millions Miami Mastermind. I'm super excited about this concept and what I've created. I will tell you that over the last 2 years, I've invested in about 11 masterminds.
Hmm.
Masterminds are not cheap. um,
Nope.
but the investment pays off every single time. I make my money right back. I mean,
Yeah.
right back. And it's about implementing the information. So before you join a mastermind, commit to saying the information I get, I'm going to implement immediately. And I'm not saying immediately meaning next month. I mean in that moment or tomorrow, implement the information while it's fresh, while you're excited about it. That's how you're going to make your money back. So my mastermind is really focused on scaling women-owned businesses and Black-owned businesses to 6, 7, and 8 figures. Through research and experience, I found that there's 6 key areas that are holding back most of these business owners that I just mentioned, and that is mindset, marketing, branding, sales, systems, and funding.
Hmm.
Systemize, really creating a lifestyle and an approach where you have, I mean, even for me, my mindset work is a system. I
Yeah.
have a routine around me working on my mindset. And so I find that sometimes we can reach a level of success and then we forget those routines that God is there. And then you find
Yes.
yourself front. And I'm like, girl, have you been doing your mindset? She's like, well, I haven't had the time. That's probably something that you should think about. You should get back into
Yes.
team because again, we don't have to work hard for money.
Yes.
That's not something that we have to do.
Hmm.
So this mastermind, we mastermind in person 3 times a year. We have like a multi-day event,
Hmm.
which is February, June, September, and our fourth quarter mastermind is going to be in the metaverse. I know, so I'm excited about the December
Yeah.
mastermind. And then every mastermind in between that, we are online via Zoom. So we mastermind a total of 12 times a year. And literally, this is an environment where you come to find solutions for your business. You should
Yes.
already be motivated. You should already be inspired. Now you're coming to talk about small business blues. What holes are in your business? What's not working in the business?
Hmm.
The people in the mastermind becomes your community, and we all invest our resources. We invest our intellect. We invest our expertise, and literally anything that you need. What you're looking for is in the mastermind.
Yes.
So these environments are intentionally created. So each mastermind have a different purpose, has a different
Right.
mission. So you want to find a mastermind that is geared towards what your goals are for your business and for you personally.
Hmm.
And you invest, right? You have to be accepted and invited into a mastermind. It is not a conference,
Right.
not a summit. It is not an event. This is serious. This is about the bloodline of your business. This is a mastermind. Don't compare it to
Yes.
anything else. It stands alone in its
Yes.
own category, right? So, my mastermind, literally, we're just so addicted to talking about business and not just business. Like, I need to make $100,000 this month. How do I do it? Like, and
Yes.
are concepts that they're real, and I didn't understand these concepts, or even I wasn't even exposed to a lot of these concepts until I got into a mastermind. I
Right.
was like, this is exactly what I was missing. So we get together next week, June 23rd to the
Yeah.
25th, in Miami for 3 days of activities. We have partners involved. We have Startup Grind, who's one of our members. We have Blacks in Technology, who's one of our sponsors. And we also have some spirits companies and some other
Hmm.
brands who are a part of it. So this is a concept that is going to be sweeping the nation. Look out, world, we're coming.
I love it. Well, and I think what one of the big pieces around there when we talk about being aligned and moving in action, we have to be willing, as I heard somebody say, I think it was Clarence Avant, the Black Godfather. You have to be willing to sit at the feet of people who know something, right? Like you said, you invested in 11 masterminds, and be discerning. For those of you who are in the audience, be discerning. Uh-oh, I think we may have lost Danielle. Nope, she's still there. We just lost her video. Um, I need you to be discerning about what masterminds you decide to go to, because often the you spend and invest in something that may or may not be what you need it to be. And so when you hear Danielle talk about it's an investment, you have to be focused on motivation, and you have to be all of those things already. That's important when you think about investing. Don't invest in yourself and your training. Good evening, Deanna. I just saw you join. Um, don't say you're going to invest in yourself and not be willing to do the work behind it, not be willing to actually show up, not be willing to be fed. I when I talk to people, and I have people in my group sessions, which I don't do masterminds. Really, mine is much more around kind of individual coaching, and all around getting people where they want to be from a leadership perspective and a career perspective. But it's that same concept of really getting clear on who you are, really understanding what your vision is, and then moving into action. Moving into action, because a goal without a plan is just a wish. You have got to move into action. And what I love about what you've set up for your mastermind is it's all about action. It's all about action, because we can all do a lot of stuff and show up and be nice and chit chat in Miami and in California and in all these great places. But if you're not doing something, then you just had a really great 3-day vacation and probably met some cool people. But you haven't really done anything to move your business forward. So Danielle, when you think about, those next steps for you. And then I want to, guys, please jump in. Let us know if you've got some questions, some comments. Please jump on the stage. We'd love to have you. Jenny's going to be sending some of you guys some invites. So accept those and just come on up and make your comments. When you think about maybe that next step for you, when you think about your bigger vision, well, before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about routine, and then I'm going to ask you this question, but I want to come back to routine first. You mentioned, you had to go back and say you've got this mindset routine, and I believe words matter and mindset matters. And as I take people through, when my world is off, it's because one of those things that's my foundation is off. Faith, family, friends, or health. One of those things is not working. I haven't been doing my meditation. I haven't been doing my exercise. Something's off when my world is off kilter. So maybe talk a little bit about how you decided what your routine would be, how you knew it was the routine for you, and then how you maintain consistency around it. Because consistency isn't perfection. We all fall off every once in a while. But how do you maintain consistency after you figured out what it was you needed to have?
So it's so crazy because, I've been in business for 13 years now. In October will be, I think, year 14.
Yeah.
And, for so long, I operated my business where my business might have had a system or, a you guys, a system where this is how we work, this is how we run our meetings, this is how we service our clients, this is how we show up for networking events, this is how we do all of these things. But I didn't really have a system or a routine. I mean, it was little things that I would do, but I don't think that it was very defined. Mm-hmm. And so I got my vision map and my morning success routine from a mastermind. My coach, my coach implemented something, and actually it was the first thing that he hit. Mindset is the first thing that you hit, because as a man thinketh, so is he. So if you can't see yourself to this success level, if you can't see yourself reaching the next level, then you go into all these courses, you trying to network in all these different rooms don't matter, because you don't even see yourself as great. You don't even see that you can do these things, even if it's by faith, right? Mm-hmm. So I take the masterminds very seriously. You tell me to do ABC, I'm going to do ABC. You say do A, I'm going to do A through Z, right? I know how to follow very well. You tell me what to do, I'll do it, because I've already trusted in your leadership. And so if you tell me that this is a barrier that's going to get me to my next level, cool, I'm going to do that. And so I personalized it to me. And my morning routine, is a little bit exaggerated. I don't start work till 10 a.m. Some of my staff starts at 9, but you're not going to catch me. And I get up early. I get up, alarm goes off at 4:45, 5 a.m. And I take those first 3 hours? 3 hours in investing in myself. And it's one of the greatest things I could do. Every morning I get up and I go to the park, and I just express gratitude for where I live, the fact that I live at a beautiful park, that I live by water. And I just spend those moments, reverencing, just bringing in positive energy and just bringing God into my day every single morning. Mm-hmm. So that routine for me is about being centered. And, if I profess Christ, if I say God is going to be, the center and the foremost of my life, then that has to be something that I practice, because if not, then you never know, something could be, like you said, off balance or taken away. Yeah. So I just try to always just start with God, center, and gratitude, and just keep it like that. And I must say, I've been pretty balanced lately, and that routine. I also sweat, in the morning. That is a success secret of, self-made multimillionaires, keeping your body fit, keeping yourself healthy. Mm-hmm. I'm not a vegan like that, but I try to burn these calories and have a somewhat clean diet, and I prioritize that because I like how my body feels when I see the results. I like that. I like being able to do that and challenge myself. It's a way that I can also challenge myself. Sometimes, the challenge isn't in our business. Sometimes the challenge is with ourselves. Yeah. How long can you how long can you go for a walk? How long can you actually run? And I didn't pick up running until the pandemic because I just, at times, I just need to get out the house. I would just run. I just would literally run. And now, I can run, about 3.5 miles.
Yeah.
And for that, I couldn't do that. It's just not something that I was like, I'm just going to run. So that's one thing that I took out of the pandemic and I kept with me. But just staying fit, I love being able to just look so good. And I live in Miami, so at any point in time, we in our bikinis.
Right.
So I want to make sure that I can show up and look great. So it makes you feel good too. So, I'm also big into affirmations because I understand my love language is words of affirmation. So even if nobody's around to affirm me, I have to affirm me. So I might do that through writing my affirmations, reciting them. I post it up all over the house. And you need those to affirm yourself. And this other really cool thing I have is a vision map where I wrote to my future self, what my life is, what I want to do, how I'm going to spend my time, the future success of me in 10 years. And I will tell you, the things that I've said on that list, they're coming true. Like, manifested it, right? So the things that you continue to say out of your mouth, they just happen. And that's why I say you don't have to work hard for money. You just have to put in these small systems and just, believe that you can make this happen. So for me, it's I do a little bit of journaling, I do gratitude, I do prayer, I read as well. My affirmations, I do my workout. And I normally fast breakfast, but I like hydrate. I'll do some vitamins. And I try my best not to engage in my phone or social media. I can't say that I'm super consistent with, let me not say social media, my phone. Because social media is a part of my morning routine because I'm a marketer. So I market in the morning because my audience is up. But I just hired a social media manager, so it won't be me. I won't be able to release that.
Yes, that's awesome. Yes. Yeah.
And
Well, and
so,
what I love,
last question about the consistency.
yes.
I I've just always been a consistent person.
Mm-hmm.
I've been somebody who's been into routine. I think that also goes back to my background in theater and dancing,
Right.
and having to show up, and then also just growing up with a mother who is also very much a hard worker. So she never allowed us to sleep in ever. So I think being consistent and showing up is one way you're going to outdo your competition. I'm going to show up every day. I'm just going to make sure that I'm on top of it. And then I have alarms. Set the alarm.
Yes. No, I love that because I think sometimes we one, as my friend Tisa said, you can't outwork the work, right? You just can't outwork the work. So you continue to make yourself do these things and think you're gonna eventually just get on top of everything. That's just a fallacy. There's always going to be something else to do. So it's that making a choice, having the systems in place, having the plans in place, having the strategy and the vision in place to decide what you're going to do and deciding what your team looks like. After 30 years in HR, I'm like, employees, that's not a way I'm going. I don't see that happening in my future, in my life ever again. However, I do have people like Jenny. I have people who are on my team. They're on employees. They are people who are part of my team. They're part of my village, right? Who work with me, who support me from a business partnership perspective and beyond. And so I think getting those people around you who get your vision, who can support your vision, and who understand that when you set those boundaries, when there are things that you want to do that are important for you to be successful, that they're supportive of that too, and they understand it and they believe in that. And just like last week, I put my out of office. I'm like, I'm done this week. I'm going to spend some time with my mom. I'm going to spend some time with my girlfriends. I'm out of office. I'll be back on Monday. And then being able to tell myself, I'm out of office. There's still some stuff that was on the plate that didn't get done. It will be there when you get back. You know it's going to be crazy. Just get your mind right, right? Because you're not going to not spend the time. So so anybody, if you got questions, please jump up on the audience. We'll invite some of you guys to speak. Would love to hear your questions or comments, especially those of you who have routines that work for you. But as we get closer here to the end, because it's about 7:45, so I always like to give people a chance to be here about 30-45 minutes and then jump on the stage. What for you, Danielle, would you say, if you think about how you really created your vision and then moved it into action? Maybe your top 2 or 3 pieces of advice to people, whether they are looking at starting a business, right, becoming an entrepreneur, or whether they are looking at, you know what, I don't know what it is yet, but I just need something different. What are some of the 2 or 3 pieces of advice that you would give somebody that's looking to just do something different to get somewhere different?
So to make that shift, it's really good to know what you're really great at and what your strengths are and just focus on that area. Right. And then also there's opportunities in various industries that are emerging industries. So how can you think about what I'm great at and how can I adapt that into an emerging industry? For example, there's a lot of teachers who are just not going back to teaching. They're going to do something different. And there's one lady that I met who has been a teacher for maybe 20 years, and she says that she wants to go into tech. And so what she did was she began to perfect her project management skills. She's like, well, I can manage the classroom, I can manage people, I can manage that.
Yes.
I can do project management. Let me go into the tech industry because they always need project managers. So then I
Hmm.
told her, we'll also think about the cryptocurrency and the blockchain world because there's companies popping out of left and right who also will need project managers. And
Hmm.
that's an emerging market where the opportunity to be hired is great. So I would say those are very two tangible, very strategic ways to think
Hmm.
about how to make that shift. But ultimately, do what makes you happy
Yeah.
and just stick to your happiness because you'll never be led astray. You won't do anything wrong if you commit to doing something that keeps you happy. That means you're going to show up as your best self. You're going to want to be there. You're going to have a pleasant, demeanor about you, and you're
Hmm.
going to actually put in the work to be great. So do what makes you happy
Yes.
and find that strength and just go there. Don't worry about the things you don't have. Just X them off the list. Okay, I'm good at this. Let me go in this direction. And there's so many unconventional ways now
Hmm.
to unveil great opportunity.
I love that. See, y'all, age ain't nothing but a number, right? Look at this wisdom that's being dropped, right? By someone who's also been in business for going on 14 years, started at 19. I see a speaker. Let's see who this is. Oh, that's your mastermind party. Yes, we'll have to have a mastermind party. Um, I I just really think that, as you listen to what Danielle said, and you're trying to think about where you want to be and what you want to do. Notice that she said, "Do what makes you happy." Because when you do that, right, you'll show up, you'll do the work, you'll do the hard things. She is not saying just do what makes you happy. And if it doesn't make you happy, don't do anything. That's where I think a lot of this falls away because we get a lot of people across generations. We've got 5 generations in the workforce right now. And there are people across generations, especially with this great resignation, realignment, whatever you want to call it today, that we still, right, we still hear that word of, well, I'm just going to do what makes me happy, I'm just going to do what makes me happy. That sounds really good. That sounds really good. And if you're independently wealthy, you can probably do that. If you're not, there's still some work that is attached to that happiness. Danielle spent a lot of time training and learning to become an incredible dancer. She didn't just show up and say, I want to dance. She worked. And so I encourage all of you, as you're looking at what your next thing is, as you're creating that vision, thinking about who you are. What are the things, for those of you who did my 5-day alignment challenge, right? What are the things that bring you joy? What are the skills that you possess? Not what you like and what you don't like. There's a sequence to that, right? What are all the skills that you have? And then start thinking about what it is that I want to do. You heard Danielle say, what is it that you want to do? And get broad because you can find it just about anywhere. Don't lock yourself into a job. Don't lock yourself into a title. Look at what you want and what skills you bring to the table and how that can transfer. I'm telling you, as an HR person, how you can transfer your skills to something else and tell the story about how what you've got is absolutely what they need. And then that will help you show up. I mean, it sounds like it could be hard, but it is so easy if you'll just breathe. Just
Hey,
breathe.
Laura.
Yes. Hey, Jenny.
While we're breathing here, I saw that
Yes.
Deanna came to the stage.
Hey, Deanna.
Hey, I had the invite, so I felt inclined to join.
Good.
On the stage. I
Yay.
kind of got on late because I had a
That's
work
okay.
situation, but I'm happy that I was able to at least join in and listen
Yeah.
into what Danielle was sharing. And, it's just amazing how, like I said, you hear these recurring things. And Laurel, just from last night, from your masterclass to
Yes.
just her, what was saying is just, that continued affirmation of like what y'all were just saying about doing what love and love what you do and
Hmm.
not feeling like you have to be stuck, or that you have to, pursue this type of thing. Cause I think, like I was saying last night, sometimes you get stuck in, okay, I went to school and I did this and I have to go in this way because that's, I did that, but that's not the thing that necessarily brings me joy, everything or every day, or that's not the thing that I feel
Yeah.
most fulfilled in. And so it is that's where the work is, for sure. And obviously, I'm in that space right now,
Yeah.
trying to do that legwork to get to that place. So it's just always encouraging to hear those things being recited in different
Yeah.
forms, all the time, because that's kind of the direction that you need to go. So thank you so much. Thank you, Danielle, girl. You did that. Let me tell you, you did that. Okay. So keep up the great work of what you're doing. It's just so impressive, to hear your story and how you've come to be and where you are, and just the impact that you're making now and what we know you'll do in the future. So best of
Yeah.
luck to you. So thank you, Laurel, definitely for creating these
Yeah.
opportunities for us, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Uh,
Danielle's awesome. And by the way, follow her on DPJeter. So D
okay.
Danielle P Page Jeter, Jeter on all platforms, right, Danielle? All your platforms, you got the same? Yeah. So definitely follow her. Go sign up if you're available. I think is your master class still open? Can people still sign up? Do they have time?
Yep.
Okay, so if you are so inclined, if you're ready to invest and ready to do the work, go check out her masterclass. And here's the thing. So let me give you guys some peace
Yep. Yep.
about that, because I also have some friends who like they are in absolutely everything. Please be discerning, right? You can go make some more money, right? But be discerning. Make sure when you sign up for something, there's something that resonates for you and that you are mentally and emotionally prepared to do the work. Because if you just go and spend the money and then you're just going to go home and sit, you've wasted. So you heard Danielle say she went to 11, but she took it. Every time she went, she got her money back, but she put it into action even before she left. So go check her out. Check out her mastermind. You will not be disappointed. Go listen to the podcast from last week that dropped last week and listen to more of her story and more of the gems that she dropped. Because I'm telling you,
Laura, can I jump real
this,
quick to say something about that
yes,
podcast?
yes,
Oh my gosh, I loved it so much. Danielle, thank you. I
yes,
really loved what you said about starting a business when you're young.
yeah,
I've shared that with the young people in my life since then. And so I just really wanted to say appreciate that, because we all think, oh, we got to have this experience or that certificate or degree or whatever. I didn't start a business till I was in my 40s. A lot of
yeah,
people are in the same boat, but you don't have to be older or have experience to start your business. And I just loved what you said about that. Thank you. And just encourage other people to like sneakily turn on the podcast in the car when your kids are listening, if you can, because
yes,
it was
Oh
yes,
wow. Thank you, Jenny, so much for that testimonial, that feedback. Thank you. That means a lot.
yeah, yeah. You are incredible because it is. And again with the podcast, I think what's so important is one of the things that Danielle said was, look, when I was coming out of college, I may not have gotten a job. Now, you're never guaranteed to get a job, but the timing for her right after the recession, it was still a problem. You just didn't know. So what did she do? She did something. Yeah. Right? She did something. She moved into action. And so find your thing. Find your thing. And entrepreneurship may not be your thing, and that's okay, but there's something that's your thing. Get networked. Go talk to people. I will tell you, having been in corporate a very long time and been a leader a very long time, for those of you who are doing that now, make sure you are spending time to build your networks, that you are spending time to do your own learning and growing. Because I realized when I came out and started my business, I'd spent a lot of time supporting everybody else, my teams, making sure they were learning, making sure they were network, making sure they were going out places and seeing other things. And then I was just so exhausted, I didn't have time to do that stuff for me. And it didn't really show up until I decided to leave. Right. And so I encourage you to know your strengths. I encourage you to think about what it is you really want, what your vision is. I encourage you to listen to the podcast of Danielle's interview, because there's so much in there about her thought process around abundance, around consistency, around discipline, around your passion connecting to action, that all things are possible. You just got to give yourself an opportunity. You just got to give yourself an opportunity. And she is the epitome of that. So don't do yourself a favor, give yourself the gift of go listen to that podcast, because I'm telling you, it will change your world. So with
Wow.
that, any other questions, comments from the audience that we want to come up? I would love to have you guys. If not, I know Danielle is busy. She's about getting her mastermind going
Yep.
there with the red carpet. So I want to say thank you, Danielle. Thank you so much, one, for being on the podcast, and then for agreeing to come on Fireside. It has been such a pleasure to have you. You're amazing. I am glad we're connected. I'll be in Philly maybe in October. So if you're going to head home to Philly at some point, maybe we'll get to connect in person. But thank you. Thank you for being on the show. Yeah. Right. Yeah. I'll have to think about Miami when it cools off. It's hot enough in Houston, honey. So maybe in the winter, I may swing through Florida. But yeah, thank you for being here. Thank all of you in the audience. Thank you so much. I will be sending out this replay. It's also on YouTube, and I will be putting Danielle's full bio out on the YouTube replay as well. And then we'll get some clips out there for you guys to see it. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of Fireside every Thursday. Now, next week, just as an FYI, next week we got a special show. Jenny and I are going to be tag teaming a show for Empowerment Village. So please come out next Thursday. That's going to be earlier. It's going to be midday. So those of you who are like, it is too dang late. So it's going to be midday, I think 12:15 my time, 1:15 East Coast. So that's what, 10:15 on the West Coast. And so we're going to come and talk about all things empowerment and doing your thing. So join us next week for Alignment Vision Action. Would love to see you there. And in the meantime, have a fantastic